So I turned down Asogi's plea, and as a result, he took upon himself to visit the fantasy expansion on his own. We can only imagine now what happened between the two men. Though we know the outcome, of course. Lord Klint perished. I don't believe this. So, in actual fact, Kazuma-san was what he did. He made the late Lord Klint meet the same fate. He put a permanent end to the professor killings by taking the drastic measure of ending the perpetrator's life. As soon as I hurried to the mansion. When I arrived, it was easy to grasp what had happened. And what about the will? Asogi must have already taken it. Nothing of that nature was found at the scene. We had no idea of the existence of such a document at the time. I was the only person who knew the true identity of the professor, so I resolved to keep it a secret and to guard the secret to the bitter end. So you're admitting to it that you were behind it all? It was you then who pinned the crimes on my father. I did what needed to be done in order to protect the law and order of the British Empire. Even if that meant employing an unforgivable ruse. Man, I'm hungry. Then it was you who arranged just fabricated evidence. I ordered that detective to take care of it, whilst keeping the truth from him naturally. Gregson? Obviously, he opposed me at first. Are you off your rocker? We can't do something like that. There's no question that was Asogi and murdered Lord Klint. The house staff had made a statement that he saw the man running for the mansion that night. Yes, well, I know that was a Japanese fellow. But you haven't got a shred of conclusive evidence against the man. And worse than that, he doesn't keep a dog, so we're short of a murder weapon to boot. And we're short on time, Gregson. You must put a stop to this man's rampage for the good of the country. So we'll use whatever means necessary. Do I make myself clear, detective? Blimey. So that night, 10 years ago, when I was attacked by those thugs in the back streets, and Genshin's ring was taken, that was him, was it? That was Gregson of some hired help. That the detective handed the soul ring to Dr. Wilson, who feigned his discovery from the victim's stomach during the autopsy. Okay, airplane just passing by again. And in the light of the decisive evidence, okay, this airplane is so loud! Mr. Asogi is found guilty of the charges brought against him. However, behind the scenes, he had actually already struck a deal with his accusers, in which he agreed to silently accept the charges. But I just believed that part. As far as I knew the man, my father despised such underhand dealings. It was, extremely easy to make him comply. You see, I had one crippling weakness. What weakness? Isn't obvious? You, Kazuma Asogi. Me? What? Perhaps you have no desire to return to your homeland, Asogi. What? Though I hear you have a 14-year-old son. Agree to cooperate and accept your guilt without contention, and you'll see Japan and your son again. You scoundrel! Whether you choose wisely or not, it will be a close trial by order of Her Majesty, so whatever rash claims you may make in court, we'll have no trouble in stifling them. There's only one outcome for you, Asogi, the gallows. Don't forget that I still have a weapon at my disposal, a document revealing the truth that I know you're desperate to keep hidden. Yes, it hasn't escaped my mind, which is the only reason I'm willing to bargain with you. I only want to protect this country's law and order, you understand? So, what is it to be Asogi? Kazuma. He did it for me. And as I told him at the time, my motive is simply to protect Britain from the damage the truce would do. To protect this country's law and order at any cost. Why are you smiling about it, though?
Objection!
I've never dared let myself even consider this possibility until now, but in the light of all this treachery, I have to ask. The mastermind behind the Reaper at the Bailey. Was it you, Lord Mouse Strongheart? A rather brilliant idea. What did you say, Lord Barak Van Seeks? That the spirit of our late brother, that paragon of justice, should return to wreak justice for his sibling. Could there be a more appetizing tale for London's masses, I ask you? What? What, Brazen? I knew that you played the part to perfection, but your role really wasn't that of some embodiment of death. No, you were London's guardian angel. An angel with bloody hands? I think not. Those who had cooperated with me already were only too happy to participate in my plan. Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson. My minions worked tirelessly to ensure that the finger of guilt could never come to rest on you. It's all thanks to them that you exalted as the demigod the Reaper became. But Dr. Wilson left Britain 4 years ago when he was invited to work in Japan, and he was killed there. That's right. So I had to employ the services of his young protege after that. Dr. Courtney sighs. Dr. sighs. So, what with the execution of the professor and the subsequent reign of the Reaper the Bailey, I successfully safeguarded law and order in our mighty capital for the past decade. That is everything. My lords, ladies, and gentlemen, I do hereby confess, it was I who started the concept of the Reaper. However, let me say in my defense. In my defense? It was all for the preservation of law and order across the entire empire. Lord Strongheart did it? Yeah, he's a murderer. An unforgivable collection of crimes, but still, all those who died at the Reaper's hand were rotted to the core anyway. But he killed Genshin. Asogi, he was innocent. Are y'all just gonna brush that off? Oh my god. There is no one left now who can reveal the precise truth of what happened 10 years ago. Therefore, this trial can go no further. Now, I would like to entreat all those present beyond these four walls. Nobody need know the truth. Even Her Majesty must be protected from this. I don't know. This is all very suspicious. I just think this has to go out in public. Well, not the whole public, but at least the Queen should know about this, right? I trust you all appreciate the importance of my request. It is, of course, for the good of the country. Only for the good of you, Strongheart. Can he do this? Can the trial really end now? Hold it. I have one last question. For the accused, Lord Van Seeks. What? Of course, I know they are a highly accomplished prosecutor, so I find it hard to believe that you didn't have any doubts at all. That you never suspect your older brother. Yes, the same thought occurred to me. It was only once, but yes, I couldn't say that I never had in my doubts. My brother's sense of justice was extremely strong, perhaps too strong, I observed. At that time, there were members of the aristocracy who were bleeding the country dry for their own gain, and since they were nobles, they were untouchable. For my brother, it was a source of great turmoil. And coincidentally at the same time, the professor began his terrifying reign. During the time of professor killings, my brother did not appear to be himself. And that made you suspect? Wow, another airplane going by. Yes. But it was only once, not more. Only once? Really? Klint wasn't the culprit. That was my conclusion at the time. I still believe that now. Do you have any evidence to support that idea? The third victim was the Lord Chief Justice at the time. It was he who recognized my brother's potential and trained him as a prosecutor. No matter what the circumstances, it's unthinkable that my brother could have killed his friend and mentor. That will do. Neither Lord Klint Van Seeks nor Genshin Asogi still walk this earth. However much we debate this matter now, we cannot hope to reach a conclusion. But... There are only two extant pieces of evidence from the time. The woe-begone ring that acted as incriminating evidence to condemn Genshin Asogi, and the 3-page last will and testament penned in black ink and left behind by the man. The wretched truth of what happened exactly as I have explained. Later today, I'll present myself at the Ministry of Justice for whatever sanction is deemed appropriate. That is all. Court is adjourned. I don't think it's over yet. Thank you, Kazuma. Me? Moi? If it wasn't for you, I would have made this 11th hour discovery. What discovery? My lord, I'm afraid I must insist the trial continues. I beg your pardon. As the court has been reminded today already, you must stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth. And to that end, one particular statement made by somebody in this courtroom moments ago revealed a very subtle contradiction. What contradiction? But all he did was ask the accused one simple question. Well, it began with Lord Van Seeks as recollection about his brother, but Lord Songer didn't admit the defendant to speak at length. I merely pointed that we could draw no further reasonable conclusions here, so where on earth is the contradiction? One of them doubly consistently contradictory. It's time to identify who. Strong art is always going to be suspicious to me. It was so strong art, I'm sure, but something he said was slightly off. Come on, Ryusuke, think back over his words. Find a problem. Oh, he said 3-page. We only have 2 pages of the will, Strongheart. Oh my god, you dumbass. Lord Strongheart, would you care to explain? Explain what, counsel? Among the statements you made just a few moments ago, something you said was inconsistent with a certain piece of evidence we have. Inconsistent? At wills, an inconsistency remains. The defense has the right to pursue an explanation. Ryusuke, what? Let me warn you about the statements you are making, counsel. They may very well prove fatal. You claim my words contain a contradiction? With which piece of evidence, I ask you? The Sogi papers only have 2 pages, and you stated that there was 3 pages.
Take that!
This here is the will left behind by Mr. Asogi. The 2-page will. What? Yet moments ago, your precise words were the 3-page last will and testament. Ah! Could it be that originally there was a 3rd page? For a moment, I thought perhaps they identified something worthwhile, but it's a mere trifle I see. A trifle? Governor Kaden. Eh? What can I do for you, sir? You were present when the Japanese man penned his last will and testament. Hey, I was there for sir. I remember the black world like scrawls to this day. And I'm quite certain, my lord, that there was a 3rd page at the time. What? What? Only the first 2 pages are the actual will, though. If I mind correctly, the 3rd was the message to his lad back in Japan. I don't think so. For legal purposes, we required only his will. And we wouldn't have wanted any uncomfortable words about Britain to get back to Japan, eh? So it's decided that 3rd page shall need to be sent.
Objection!
How dare you make that decision? I had a right to know what it said, to hear my father's final words to me. Decorum is no place for sentimentality, counsel. As it happens, I have the 3rd page of the document with me right here now. My father's message. It'll be given to you at the end of these proceedings. It'll be too late once the trial is over. We need to know what it says now. Even the slightest thing may give us a vital clue. My lord, the defense calls for Genshin Asogi's last words to his son to be read out loud before the court now. Your request is denied. The inevitably maudlin words can be of no consequence now.
Objection!
I think it's very important. The prosecution agrees. The court should know the content of that message. Every possible piece of evidence must be thoroughly examined. Very well then, Governor Caden. You will read the third page of the document for all present to hear. Yes, sir! Only, I should point out, my lord, I can't read Japanese. This beautiful handwriting? Shame on you, Barry. Hey, yo, what's up? If I could be of assistance here, I'll be happy to translate the words into English for the court. And water! You're still here, are you, Dr. Magatoba? I mean, why would he leave? Naturally, I consider myself a member of the judiciary, albeit a lowly one. But perhaps I should quietly withdraw to translate Genshin's message. Your cooperation is much appreciated. Okay, Magatoba. Give us your best shot. Kazuma, the truth is shrouded in darkness. A darkness only a Khan's great sword can pierce. Yeah, he hid the whole shit in the sword. Mighty Karuma, twist thy head and watch them fall. Ah, thy mortal foes. That's the end of the message, it would seem. A haiku poem? Twist thy head? Father. What is Karuma? The name of the Sogi Khan's famous sword. A razor-sharp blade known to all, passed down for generations. It embodies the Japanese spirit. It's not known to me. It's the katana sword that was submitted as evidence earlier in these proceedings. The one worn by the prosecutor's counsel when he confronted Inspector Gregson. Okay. All these procrastinations are beginning to try my patience. Adjournment of this court is long overdue. As the presiding judge, I have been as accommodating as possible to the will of the courtroom. However, despite all that, no new information has come to light. In pursuit of justice, Lord Van Seeks tragically lost all sense of morality. When he murdered his former mentor, clearly was already devoid of his normal facilities.
Objection!
How dare you! I refuse to believe that of my brother. Too much time has passed. We cannot ever hope to know more than we do now. Especially since the alleged will that he penned his final ones appears to have been lost forever. Arg! Lord Strongheart, you appear to be in something of a hurry interrupting sup. I wonder why. Oops. My butterfinger's at it again. We heard you say time and again during these proceedings that everything you did was in the interest of protecting British law and order, but I can't help but wonder that you're doing this in the interest of yourself. And I stand by that. Without the Reaper, we would never have achieved the reduction in crime the capital has seen.
Objection!
What about Inspector Gregson then? And Dr. Wilson? There were no criminals. You used them to achieve your ends, and then you had them killed. However you dressed it up, there was nothing fair or just about that. Lord Strongheart, what exactly is it that you're hiding? Dr. Megatoba, were you not to quietly withdraw through this translation of former associate's will? In this courtroom, no argument carries weight unless it is supported by evidence. And it would seem that defense has no more evidence to present. In which case, I hereby order all discourse on the proceedings to be struck from the record. Alright, take a deep breath. 1, 2. This is my last chance. Mr. Naruhodo, I have to present some decisive evidence now, or it's all over. But can I present evidence? Wait, my lord. As it happens, the defense does have evidence to present. What? Don't be absurd. There's nothing relevant remaining for the time.
Objection!
It's high time they realize something, my lord. This gentleman has the uncanny habit of producing evidence at the final hour that escaped everyone else's attention. Nonsense. What is it, Ryunosuke? What do you have? I dare to say that the final decisive piece of evidence that will reveal the whole truth about this rotten tale. How can you? Decisive. I'm actually gonna go examine the sword. Mighty Karuma, twist thy head and watch them fall, all thy mortal foes. That's the proper way to use this sword, is it? Maybe I should try it. It hurts my neck, that's the trouble. It's Naruhodo, if I might make a suggestion, I think perhaps it doesn't mean your head. Oh, I studied the history and development of the katana some time ago. What did you not study? Susanoo, like you study everything. And as I'm sure you're probably aware, the sword's head is the part at the very end of the hilt. Not your head, Yunosuke. A student's head is Japanese, but it's pronounced as Kashira, I believe. Kashira? So Mr. Sogi's words really mean twist the butt at the hilt? You don't think... Ah! Look what's inside it. Is that a tiny lone sheet of parchment? Oh my god! Scarlet ink! It's written in scarlet ink! I penned this, my last will and testament, in the final moments before my inevitable and willing death. This is it, isn't it? It's Naruhodo! Look at the signature at the end! Klint found Seeks, and the date, 10 years ago, on that fateful night. So for 10 years, it's silently concealed inside Karuma, nobody knew. The last will and testament of Lord Klint found Seeks. Wait, oh my goodness. Look at this. This is unbelievable. Okay. Oh, we can't read it. Okay. Well, it appears there's no escaping it now, my lord. Let it be so then. Present whatever you think you have that can sort of stick it all enigma, if you're incapable. Oh boy. What exactly is evidence that the defense claims to be so decisive? This one! Take that! There's a single piece of evidence that can clarify what really happened 10 years ago. The last will and testament of Lord Klint found Seeks. Ha! A wonderfully astute observation, I'm sure. But in case I skipped your notice, that document was lost long ago. That's right, it was. Only... I have it right here, discovered just moments ago. Impossible, that can't be. Everything that's happened comes back to this will. This document. It's the key that will unlock the entire mystery. Oh, wow, his face. Garg! He's like sweating profusely now. My brother's last will and testament, where did you find that? It was rolled up inside this. Inside Karuma? That ultimate weapon Genshin Sogi obtained was laying undisturbed as held the sword all these years, just waiting for the right time to emerge. I revealed the truth. The signature and seal certainly look official. My god, it's true. It's my brother's handwriting. There could be no mistake. I forbid the contents of the document from being read out. Do you hear me? I strictly forbid it. Nah, we gotta read it. You can't do that, my lord. This document could explain everything. That document could literally distort the meaning of justice in this country. I demand that you hand it to me at once. Why? What are you trying to hide? Could it be that you already know what's written on this page? What are you implying? Court is adjourned to immediate effect. Clear the courtroom.
Objection.
Do that, my lord. And you suffer fatal blows, Lord Chief Justice. I beg your pardon. For us to be ending a trial without good reason, and not any trial, a closed trial by order of Her Majesty the Queen. To defy the monarch's will is treason. Grrr. Lord Konvaxi's really dependent will that day. It's exactly as the young Japanese man said. Read it out. Now! We have a right to hear what's in that will, a right and a duty. Well, my lord. It would appear as though proceedings aren't going to go quite as we hoped. You fools. Go ahead, Ryusuke. Read it. The prosecution gives its full support. Very well then. No, for God's sake. No! I penned this, my last will and testament, in the final moments before my inevitable and willing death. The hour is 11 p.m. I sit at my writing desk in my office. My good friend Asogi stands on my shoulder. He has expressed his intent to invoke the dying ritual of the duel, that I may depart this world with honor. An honor of which I am utterly undeserving. The Japanese are a truly merciful people. Damn. The art is just so good. I, Klint Van Seeks, Lord of the Manor at the Van Seeks estate, hereby confess to the following. I am the killer who has come to be known in society as the Professor, guilty of 4 counts of murder. I will not here discourse the corruption rife among the aristocracy, which is to me, as one of them, so apparent. However, 6 months ago, I took the life of a member of the House of Lords at the heart of the depravity. A demon who habitually sacrificed the common man to further his own interests, abusing his position of power. The law is impotent against such vile avarice. Only a fellow demon can rid a society of this menace. That demon was my quarry, upon which I willingly set my greyhound. But though I am a hunter of some experience, I am a poor feline, it seems. My guilt was at once recognized by another, and it became such a distortion. He held over me the threat of exposing my wicked crime to my beloved wife and brother. Under that threat, I have done this man's bidding for months now, killing those he demanded I kill. As I watched my former mentor perish before my eyes at the jaws of the hound I commanded, I realized that I lost the last shred of decency within me and sunk to the level of a wild beast. There is no path back to the light. Be it I or my dear friend Asogi dies this night, I am eternally damned. To my extortioner, Mao Strongheart, may you feel the jaws of the beast at your throat every time you swallow. Damn, he wrote a freaking curse letter. Holy shit. So now we know, yes, Klint Van Seeks was a murderer, but somebody was directing him and naming his victims, his extortioner, Lord Mount Strongheart. It was you. Lord Strongheart, a moment ago, you claimed that what the court has just heard could destroy justice in this country, but you aren't trying to protect justice at all. What are you trying to do? Was concealed the secret of her true nature and the countless lives you sacrificed up until now. Stop spying, it's so creepy! It just didn't make sense to me that the third victim, the former Lord Chief Justice, was my brother's benefactor and a man of lofty principles. You had Klint kill him so you could be the new Lord Chief Justice. To eliminate the man who stood between you and the opposite side your sights on. So use your own hunting dog, Lord Klint Van Seeks, to take him down. It had to be done. London's unsavory shadows are deep, and the arm of the law fails to reach their depths. Crime must be cut off at the roots, but the Lord Chief Justice at the time couldn't see that he was weak. Lofty principles, you say, tantamount to cowardice if you ask me. Which is why I took his place, in order to fight the crime he was allowing to spread like wildfire. By murdering the man, the raper, the professor, the name makes no difference. As I explained countless times already, it was all down for the furtherance of law and order in London. You're crazy. You're freaking crazy. Are you going to legitimize the murder of my father now too? Ah, Genshin Asogi. Well, that was unfortunate. I had fully intended to send him back to Japan as you'd agreed. I don't believe you. It was you, wasn't it? You killed him. No, it wasn't me who took your father's life. Then who? On the night following his mock execution, I went to Loga's cemetery at 3 in the morning with Chigoku. Chigoku? There had to be a collaborator on the Japanese side to manage Asogi's treatment after his repatriation. Chigoku had first ambition. It made him easy to manipulate. 10 years ago, after he stood trial for the destruction of the Witch's Sand, I had words with him. When I told him the position of Ministry of Foreign Affairs could be his, he couldn't agree fast enough. Seishiro, you fool. As you know, Asogi escaped the president and called his castle and was subsequently interred. We attempted to dig him out of his grave before he ran out of air. But sadly, all did not go to plan. Ah! There was an unexpected visitor to the cemetery whose own ideas of digging out graves. A man who witnessed what nobody was supposed to see. In North Strabber. Of course, I knew grave robbers frequent in London cemeteries. But that grave on that particular night. Blast! If people find out the convict wasn't really executed, the scandal will rock the very foundations of the empire. Then what do we do? Shoot him, Mr. Jigoku. Shoot Asogi at once. He can't live now this has happened. He has to go. What are you talking about? You had an agreement. You promised him he could return to Japan. Everything has changed now. The truth got out because of this. Both of us will be finished. Forever. Come on, Jigoku. Do it. Pull the trigger. Shoot! Oh god. Jigoku shot Asogi from the shadows. The grave robber was so close. The blood sprayed over his coat. He fled as fast as his legs could carry him. Then Jigoku and I put Asogi's body back in the grave from which he just emerged. And then Madame Tuspellis found the corpse. Damn. When I later learned that the waxwork model was present at the scene as well, I made her swear to two things. Never to remove the professor's mask, and never to speak of the events of that night. But she did remove the mask! And she did speak of the events. And with that, the secret was buried along Asogi's corpse. Madame Tuspellis be like, I won't listen to your two rules. So now, you know what really happened in Loge's cemetery that night. It was Jigoku, your Japanese acquaintance, who killed Asogi in the end, you see. He claimed to be the man's friend, but when push came to shove, he pulled the trigger. Just before Mr. Jigoku left the courtroom earlier, he said that the assassin exchange proposal was demanded for his British counterpart, not a request. So he coerced him too, using what happened in Korea Graveyard. By that time, Jigoku's Minister of Foreign Affairs negotiated international treaties with Britain. You can imagine what would have happened if it came to light he murdered a compatriot 10 years earlier. He would have lost everything. I really reminded him of that. How do you sleep at night? Cause he's crazy. He doesn't care, he's just a sociopath. These past 10 years, I've fought tirelessly with the darker recesses of London's criminal underworld. And I've used whatever means necessary to ensure that justice prevails and law and order reigns supreme.
Objection.
That couldn't be further from the truth. The fact is, you haven't fought crime at all. You just had like people do your own shit for you while you sat on your ass. I say Klint seeks dishonor is death.
Objection.
Whilst behind the scenes, you systematically buried anyone who stood in your way, and then you made my father take the blame. It was unavoidable, it's only to protect the justice system and public order. Let's not forget the others he killed as well. Setting the defendant up as the reaper to cover up the truth behind the murders of countless more. That's enough! Do you have any idea of the conniving that led to the acquittals of just wretched criminals? We have to fight fire with fire. Our course can't function without a reaper. Can't you see all I've done for this country? This has been my struggle.
Objection.
Oh wow, now you have to have everything about you. You act as if you're the victim. You've done nothing. It's Lord Van Seek's hero who worked tirelessly and justly in court, whilst enduring the disgrace of the Reaper name. And Inspector Gregson, fraught with anguish for having soiled his hands through a desire to do the right thing. Not to mention Gensen Sogi, who risked his life going in pursuit of the truth he tried to hide. No, the darker recesses of London's underworld were largely filled by you. You little, what will get it to your thick skulls? That was all for the Queen and country? I'm tiring of that excuse. You consistently twist and choose your bargaining power to make others do your bidding, nothing more. People who unwillingly twist the truth and coerce others have no right to call themselves part of the judiciary. I strongly suggest you don't ever talk of justice again. You don't have any right to talk about justice. Yeah, he's like an opera singer. Oh. Oh. Okay, it's kind of scaring me now. What are you talking about? You fraud. Keep your mockery. Please, don't misunderstand. It really is exactly as you both said. What are you trying to say? I have occupied the darker recesses beyond this underworld, and how do you put it? Done nothing? I confess it's a little embarrassing to have been pointed out quite so starkly, but yes, I really have done nothing, which means I can be indicted for nothing. No? What? Oh my god, now he's like, oh, I could get away with all this shit, huh? Because I ordered everyone else to do it. Wow.
Objection.
You can't get away with that. You consistently preyed on people's weaknesses. And what? Threatened them? Are you sure it wasn't just bargaining? Oh my god. I would like to address all the good lords, ladies, and gentlemen of the judiciary here present. You all know these darker recesses are a great capital, and deep down I believe you also know that to fight those who dwell here requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. So let me appeal to your good sense now. Consider the situation with me. If this catalog of horrifying revelations were to become common knowledge among 6 million inhabitants in London, what might happen? To learn that the famous murderer of royals and nobles was a suspected member of Sakasi himself. The evidence was fabricated in the scapegoat's trial amid secretive negotiations with prosecutors to effect the jailbreak. That the Reap of the Bail is an organized group of assassins managed by a Scotland Yard inspector. And finally, that it was all masterminded by the Lord Chief Justice himself. If the general public of Britain knew the truth, all faith in the police and the prosecutor's office would be completely lost, without doubt. Public order in the capital would completely break down. It would be cast back to the lawless days of the last century. Precisely, as it was 100 years ago, when 1 in 10 of the population criminals. Think what we accomplished since then: a public policing force, a comprehensive set of laws. And if we want to continue to protect this new era of law and order, I say again, we must at times occupy the darkness ourselves. T-pose. We have successfully identified and apprehended the man responsible for taking Inspector Gregson's life. This is all, but that was all that was expected at trial. All these other matters that have been discussed will be eliminated from the administrative proceedings in the interest of preserving law and order. And to protect Her Majesty the Queen, of course. And to protect me, of course. Well, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, what say you? He has a point. The things Orsarn has done are quite unforgivable. But on the other hand, it's not our duty to maintain law and order in the capital. You can't deny that the threat of the Reaper over the years have done wonders for the crime rate. And by fair means or foul, it's all thanks to Orsarn. Strong heart. Oh, damn. Are you hearing this? This is the will of the British judiciary? For your rousing response, friends, I express my heartfelt gratitude. Therefore, in accordance with these overwhelming wishes of the court, the record shall be erased. You have to respect the man's ability to turn the situation in his favor. Yeah, he's pretty smart. Lord Stronger really is the master of manipulation. Yep. You can concede prove his guilt. Your silly majesty evade justice. I just don't know what we could do. Ryunosuke, it looks like the trial really is going to come to an end now. I'm almost out of options, I think. There's only one path left open to me. It's evidence. Yes, as I know only too well, the only thing that carries any weight in court is hard evidence. But Mr. Naruhodo, what evidence is there to use at the stage in the trial? I have an idea. I don't know whether anything will come of it, but if there's ever time for using this particular item we have among the evidence, it's now. The lucky charm! Oh my, yes, Mr. Shones asked if we had that with you earlier. If exposed all of our strongest wrongdoing now. I no doubt that Mr. Shones already deduced exactly how to choose to unfurl. So I think it must be time for the great detective to take center stage, don't you? Yes, absolutely. Let's take the hair by the ears then. And heave! Alright, here goes. Heave! Ow, 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 ow! My dear fellows, must remind you every time, a gentle tug would suffice. Mr. Shones! You're looking in quite the wrong direction, Mr. Naruhodo, because I'm over here. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, he's... Huh? It's Mr. Shones! What? What is this, a hologram? I wasn't expecting you back, Shones. Delighted to be here again, Lord Strongheart. What is the meaning of this? Bala sees him, put the man in irons. This is close call. You've been warned once already, man. This is a hologram. What the? We can't get a hold of him, my lord. We just go right through him. I'm afraid your efforts are wasted. You see, the great detective you see before you is composed entirely of light and shadow, an image, if you will. Mr. Naruhodo, I must congratulate you on your fine deductions. But Mr. Shones, what on earth is... Are you familiar, I wonder, with the invention known as the telephone? Well, yes. I hear that some public telephone has been installed recently in Tokyo. The sound of the speaker's voice is converted to an electrical signal and transmitted instantly to another place. Quite. Sounds transmitted. So cannot images keep them company, I muse. I decided did some modest experimentation to develop such a device specifically for this very day. Modest experimentation, Mr. Sholes? What a modest description! And somewhat incidentally, I thought you might just as well transmit an entire scene. Somewhat incidentally, Mr. Sholes? Now you're just being immodest. Do you mean to say you're not actually here, Sholes? Ah, I trust my trusty partner would have no trouble grasping this concept. Except he's grasping standing steady himself about your shock arrival. Poor father, I would hope he might have been forewarned, being the great detective's great partner. Leave my corner at once. Get out, I swear to you. Dear me, you on the other hand, Lord Star, appear to have a very poor grasp of the situation. Allow me to reiterate, I am not here, which would, I hope, lead naturally to one asking, where exactly are you? The very question I was awaiting. I am at present enjoying the air in a rather splendid garden. Okay guys, my voice is dying, so yeah. I think that'll be it for part 39 and 40 of The Great Story 2. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.